I decided to do orks for the next tactica video. I'm talking about some strengths and weaknesses to orks, and some of their special rules. Some of the strengths are, well, they're really good at close combat. You have like, 2 attacks usually, but you have like, if you have, in most cases you have like a pistol and a choppa, so it's like +1 for your boys. And if you attack, you actually charge that turn, you get another +1. So you have like 4 attacks per boy in most cases, which is really nice, and especially because they have high weapon skills to 4, and in most cases they have furious charge, so they get 1+ initiative and 1+ strength on the charge. It actually can be pretty devastating. It can take people by surprise real fast. I think one of their strengths is, the more the merrier. So if you have a lot of boys, if you have some boys, like we'll say like 10, 15, they're not going to last that long. But if you have like 30, or high 20s, in multiple squads especially, they're going to overwhelm the enemy, and just like, especially like elite armies. I mean, I know elite armies can hold their own, but if you have so many, there's like no way they can just stop them all. So you just, tons of boys always works, unless they have like crazy shooting, crazy artillery and stuff. Another thing is they're real easy to paint. So like on average, like typical ork is probably, I don't know, about 50% green or so. Like here's an example. See his face, his arms. A lot of his skin is exposed on orks, so they're pretty easy to paint. And if if you don't like painting, or if you're just trying to throw an army out real fast, just to get something out on the table, they're pretty good. They're real easy to do, so they don't take long at all. And even if you're not a good painter, they're orks, so everyone expects them to look kind of, just the way they are. They're sloppy, so it's not like it's that bad. Even if you're not that good, it doesn't matter. And another strength is like they're naturally tough. On average, they're 4 toughness. Even though their armor's not that great, in most cases it's 6, they're still 4 toughness is pretty good. I mean, a lot of guns can get around that, of course, but still, most guns are only going to be strength 4, so they're going to need 4 to wound. And another strength that I can think of is their leadership is actually really good. Like, I know if you look at their stat line, you see 7 leadership, you're like, it's not bad, but it's just kind of, well, 40k, it's pretty low. It's like tied for Imperial Guard too, so. But with their ork special rules, that is pretty much their one special rule, which is the mob roll. It makes them so good. What basically that says is, if you're at 11 or more boys in a squad, they're fearless, so they just ignore all morale checks and pinning and all that crap. And if you're below 11, like say you're 9, that squad's leadership you can substitute in for the number of boys in the squad, so it's going to be a 9, not a 7. And even if you're at like 6 and 5 left, you're still going to be a 7. So, and by then, that squad's pretty much useless if they're that small. But so for the most part, it could take people by real surprise when you run in there with like we'll say even just like 10 guys, and they're like, oh, you're a 7 leadership, and you're like, no, I'm a 10. Not bad. All right, well, weaknesses. A lot of their guns. Well, I don't say a lot of them, but for the most part, like weird boys and even the shock attack gun, it's real random. So even though the shock attack gun is real powerful, it's a lot of things can go either way. It could help you out or not help you out. And same with a weird boy. A weird boy could be helpful, but in my opinion, it's like the randomness is just not not that good. If you take out the randomness, they're so much more effective. Their armor sucks. It's like a 6 on most cases. You can upgrade, for, we'll say, art boys, so you have a 4+, or even Mega Knobs, they're 2, which is real nice. But other than that, 6s, pretty much everything that gets past your toughness of a 4 is just going to kill you. Most guns are AP6 anyway, so it's pretty much, so the more, again, the more merrier, the better off you are. Initiative is horrible. You're not going to be winning any initiative battles. I mean, even if you're fighting Tal, they're like, what, a 2? I don't know. I think they're 2. Maybe a 1. Nah, it can't be a 1. Probably 2. So, if you charge them, you're a 3, so yeah, you go first. But, you're not going to be winning that many initiative battles. Most of the time, you're going to be losing them. And, let's see. A huge weakness to the orks, in my opinion, is most of their units are just boys with different weapons. You know, you have a tank buster squad. They're basically boys with big, sledgehammers. You got, even I don't know, there's a lot of them are like that, though. That's I can't think of them right now, but we'll just go through real quick. Like Ludas are basically boys just with crazy guns, and I don't want to say burnout boys because they are typical boys with burnuts, but they're even them. They're like same. They're just boys with different weapons. So there's no real crazy like your guys are just gonna be pretty much boys. All right. Well, last thing I can think of as weakness-wise is their shooting. Even though orks excel at close combat, their shooting is just terrible. It's kind of actually humorous because they miss so many times. On average, you'll probably hit in 1/3 of the time, every 33 or so percent, because their ballistic skills are 2, so you need a 5. Even though that could help, I mean it sucks, but it could help because orks actually surprise people because their shooting is, you have so many boys that like their shooting just overwhelms the enemy. They're like, whoa, how the heck did you get like 200 shots off in one turn? And then they realize, yeah, well, you need 5, so only like 40 or so hit, and then you got a wound too. But no, whatever. But that's why they're so good at close combat though, because their shooting sucks. All right, well, now I'm gonna talk about their special rules. Orks get to call a wog once per game, and basically this is just like orks going berserk and they just want to smash skulls. So once per game in the shooting phase, you can call a wog. It's free, as long as it's not on turn 1. And basically, you move 6 and you can just shoot, and charge 6, as long as it's not like heavy. But with a wog, you get fleet of foot, which is real nice. Everyone in your army gets fleet of foot, but you have to roll per unit. So here, I'll just show you real quick what I mean. Alright, so you got, here we go. This is like just a unit of Dark Reapers, and here's like a two small squads of orcs. We'll say, alright, I'll move up 6. I'm not going to really measure all these guys, just to make it go faster. Alright, so moving phase, I'll say move up 6, blah blah blah. Alright, the whole unit's up here. Just throw them up there. All up there, whatever. Alright, and I call a wog. So I'll say the wog for this one. Oh geez, I only got a 1. So what happens on a 1 is you automatically take the wound, but they get to still move that 1 inch in assault 6 inches. But they're obviously too far. I think they're too far. Yeah, they're too far. Alright, let's say this unit. Alright, I gotta get a 6, which is nice. Perfect. So you move up 6, and and then what happens is fleet of foot. You get to charge too. So as long as they're 6 inches away, which they are, that whole unit, anyone that was with them and so forth, as long as they're 6 inches, gets to call gets to charge that turn, which is nice. So if you get a 1, you don't worry about getting 1s, which I did. You just take the wound, but you still move that unit takes the wound, and you get to allocate it on whoever you want. But you still move that 1 inch and still assault, which is nice. Alright, I already talked about the mob psychology. Basically, if you're 11 or over in the squad, you're fearless. If you're under 11, you just substitute them in for how many guys you have. You have 9, you use the 9 leadership. You have 5, you use the 7 leadership, because you're 7 anyway. So if you go below 7, you're still 7. And a lot of the orcs have furious charge, which is so nice. That's like that's their last special rule, which gives you 1+ initiative, 1+ strength. And a lot of orcs have that. I mean, I think like every orc has that, which is so nice. So as long as you charge, they're real hard hitting. If you don't charge, you're strength 3, but considering you have a lot of attacks, still can be quite good. Alright, I'll probably talk about the HQs and maybe some troop choices in the next one.